following program contains explicit calls to political action. If you are addicted to the tax-exempt status, Randall might not be right for you. Check with your little sister.
Standing for truth in the four corners of America. Fighting for justice on the frontiers of the culture wars. And turning resistance into an art form. The only TV host arrested more times than Mahatma Gandhi, Randall Terry.
Welcome. Thank you. Andrew, more fake applause, my man. Throw in a cheer for the dangerous fanatic. I am dangerous, and I am a fanatic, and I'm coming for you, either to make you an ally, or to make you not be a factor on the political horizon, to make you politically dead. Oh, I am telling you something, ladies and gentlemen. I am feeling rage, genuine rage over the Washington Post. Today's top story, for me, today's only story. Political treachery from the Washington Post. Against who? None other than Barack Hussein Obama. What have they done? Oh, I'm going to tell you in today's program. It's disgusting. It's vile. Today's program brought to you in part by the Washington Post, where Judas is our patron devil, and by The Prince by Niccolo Machiavelli. If you don't understand what the Washington Post is doing, The Prince has the decoder ring. I'm going to take a quick break, let Jihad Jenny do her thing, and then come back and show you what's going on. Believe me, the buzz is a-flying all over the nation. I'll be right back.
Allah Akbar, good morning, boys and girls. What about Juan Williams? That infidel. NPR's fire that boy. Now, if only my boys teach him lesson. He feels nervous around Muslims. I feel nervous when justice of Allah fell down on him from heaven.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another week of intense broadcasting, the nation's #1 Tea Party television program. It is I, your servant, Randall. By the way, how do we know that I'm the #1 TV show for the Tea Party movement? Because we're the only one broadcasting out of Washington, D.C., hosted by a Tea Party activist, staffed by Tea Party warriors, bringing you the Tea Party news, the Tea Party agenda, and helping to define the debate right here in our nation's capital. And by the way, the purpose of today's program is critical because I'm committed to helping you to learn to read between the lines of the major news sources in America. Because whether we like it or not, they have a huge impact. They often have a huge agenda, and part of that agenda is to sell us something in a way that turns us into political zombies. Yes, Washington Post, yes, I will do your bidding. I will follow you into the dark night of America's political soul. Tell me what to think, Washington Post and New York Times. But I've got the decoder ring. Get a close-up on that ring. It's the Crusader ring, baby. 5 crosses. Those committed to making war against those who make war against eternal truth. Back to camera 1, Randall. All right. I read the Washington Post. I still want to gnaw my flesh. Let's just go to the story, which is going to dominate today's program and hopefully show you the Machiavellian nature of those who want to keep us happy and calm and quieted down on the federal plantation. The Washington Post on Sunday, November 14th, ran an editorial in their paper urging President Obama to not run for re-election. Oh, not run? Have they lost their mind? Have they lost their spine? Have they lost the loyalty of their darkened soul? Probably all three. And to be honest with you, it is far more than that. The article was written in such a way that made you think, we want President Obama to be above the fray of politics. We want President Obama to have a shining legacy as a one-term president. It's about the retention of power. I would like to say a lot of words on this program that were meant for men sitting around and playing poker and having a cigar while they talk about the crooks and the villains and the vile, despicable human beings that run this country. But because we're primarily seen on family-friendly television, I'm afraid I'm going to have to leave some of those thoughts to my imagination and yours. But nevertheless, I am going to read to you excerpts from this heinous, disgusting, vile editorial. Now, before I go any further, because some of you are saying, wait a minute, let me get this straight. The Washington Post urged Obama to not run for re-election, and you're mad at them? Yes, I am. I'm mad at them because they're liars. I'm mad at them because I hate disloyalty. I would encourage you to go to the library and get a copy of the book called Stickin', S-T-I-C-K-I-N apostrophe, Stickin', written by James Carville, the man who got President Clinton into the White House and kept him there 4 years later. I don't like Carville. I don't like President Clinton. But there is something to be said for loyalty, and loyalty to principle. What we're about to see here with this article and what makes me so enraged, they are loyal to the retention of power so that they can accomplish their damnable, godless agenda. Did I just say that? Yes, I did. Did I mean that? Yes. And it's very possible that the men who wrote this, and I say this with surgical, theological precision, that the men who wrote this are, in fact, demon-possessed. Not necessarily in the sense of frothing at the mouth, but perhaps their intellect. Keep it up and we might see them froth. The name of the article was One and Done. To be a great president, Obama should not seek re-election in 2012. Now, because of time constraints, I do not have the time to read the entire article, but what I'm going to do is tell you who wrote it. Listen to me. Number one, it was written by Patrick Cadell. He was a pollster and a senior advisor to guess who? Jimmy Carter. Yeah, the peanut guy down from Georgia, the one-termer. Second, written by Douglas Scone. He was a pollster who worked for Bill Clinton. Now think this through. We've got a pollster for Carter and a pollster for Clinton telling Obama, you need to be above the political fray. Don't run. Well, what do they know that we don't know? Who do they want to run? Who are they trying to get a job with? Have they got Hillary off in the corner? Huh? Have they got some other Democrat moderate governor who they're trying to push on the American people? We're going to read quotes from this, and as you'll see, they're trying to sell themselves as people who care about ending gridlock. They are liars. They care about a Democrat winning the White House in 2012, and they know that right now President Obama doesn't have a real good shot at doing that. But you know what I want to say? Both of you men, can you hear me? Now let me look at this camera before I go to my break. You're cowards. You are cowards and liars. President Clinton took a thumping in 1994, and he made a comeback. Can Obama do it? What are you guys really up to, huh? Did either of you major in The Prince by Machiavelli? Did you? Because I smell that you're up to something, and it's not what you said it was in your article. I'm going to take a break. I'll be right back, and I will read to you from the article in the Washington Post that calls upon President Obama to not run for re-election. From the Post.
The mountain roads in West Virginia are outfitted with signs that say, "Look out for fallen rocks." To which my father said, "Let the fallen rocks look out for themselves."
Moments with Moses. You shall not bring the hire of a harlot, or the wages of a dog into the house of the Lord your God, in payment for any vow. For both of these are an abomination to the Lord your God.
Welcome back to the program, friend. My staff is here saying, all right, enough of the intro. Give us the substance. All right, you ready? Hold on. These are the words from the Washington Post urging President Obama to not run. If the president goes down the re-election road, we are guaranteed 2 years of political gridlock at a time when we can ill afford it. But by explicitly saying he will be a one-term president, Obama can deliver on his central campaign promise of 2008. What promise was that? Draining the poison from our culture of polarization and ending the resentment and division that have eroded our national identity and common purpose and blah, 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 blah. Listen, guys, it was a referendum about Obama, as we're going to talk about, but our national identity and common purpose, that is exactly what this fight is about. It's not if he won't run, or if he says, I won't run for re-election, that it takes the toxin and the poison out of this culture. This is about whether or not we are going to be a free people, whether or not we're going to forge a consensus for socialism or forge a consensus for freedom. So if Obama runs or doesn't run, if he wants to maintain the socialist plantation, that is the source of the division. They're trying to say that Obama himself is the source of the division. And if he would just step out of the way by promising to not run for re-election, we could forge a consensus and help us with our national identity. They're lying. Let's keep going. We do not come to this conclusion lightly, but it is clear, we believe, that the president has largely lost the consent of the governed. No kidding, guys. The midterm elections were effectively a referendum on the Obama presidency. And even if it was not an endorsement of the Republican vision for America, the drubbing the Democrats took was certainly a vote of no confidence in Obama and his party. The president has lost or has almost no credibility left with Republicans and little with independents. Please note, they never say that this is a referendum on Obama's ideals. And they're not asking Obama to give up his ideals. You see, friends, this was certainly a referendum on the Obama presidency, but what makes the Obama presidency are his ideals, his ideology, what he stands for, what he wants to turn this country into, a grand socialist plantation. Please note, they are trying to say that Obama is the problem, and if he'll say, I'm not going to run for re-election, well, then the the referendum on his presidency is over. He gets the message that he shouldn't be president, and now let's all come together and go forward. Listen, I'm going to read one more, and then I'll take a break. They say we didn't come to this lightly. Yeah, who do they want to run? Who are they going to make a little money from? He said Obama can restore the promise of the election, his election, by forging a government of national unity, welcoming business leaders, Republicans, and independents into the fold. But if he is going to bring Democrats and Republicans together, the president cannot be seen as an advocate of a particular party. What? He's a Democrat, you liars and losers. But as somebody who stands above politics, seeking to forge consensus. Stop and think what they're saying. If he isn't running, then he can call Republicans, Democrats, independents, and forge a consensus. Obama says, I started wanting to have shackles this big. Independents want them this big. Republicans want them this big. Let's forge a consensus as to what the shackles of our socialist plantation should look like. Should we bejewel them a little? Throw a little trinket on it from time to time? Should we buff it so that it's shiny? Because we all know that rednecks love shiny stuff. What do we do to forge a consensus? Obama says, I'm not going to run. And now let's all come together and forge out an agenda that takes us forward into the political future. Wait a minute. If you have people that have an ideological divide, I want to be alive and free, you want me to be your slave, how do we forge a consensus with that? It'd be like asking Israel to forge a consensus with Hamas and Hezbollah. Hezbollah and Hamas are committed to eradicating Israel from the planet. All right? So how does Israel compromise with that? Death, life. What's the compromise? Life support? Come on. I'll be right back.
In our country, we don't get to vote for laws. We vote for lawmakers who make laws in our name and in our stead. And so if Obama says that he's going to keep killing babies, and you support him, then you have participated in the shedding of innocent blood. By extension, it is a crime.
Success cannot be guaranteed. There are no safe battles. Sir Winston Churchill. Welcome back to the program, friend. We are looking at excerpts of the Washington Post editorial that ran on Sunday calling for President Obama to not seek re-election. Ooh, I despise these people. Written, of course, by two Democratic pollsters, one who worked for Carter and one for Clinton. Oh, gee, they don't have an agenda. All right. Moreover, if the president were to demonstrate a clear degree of bipartisanship, it would force the Republicans to meet him halfway. There's the agenda. There's the agenda. Socialism light. Meet halfway on TARP. Meet halfway on continuing the socialist programs. That's their agenda. If they didn't, they would look intransigent. Oh, we don't want to play with Obama, so we're the bad guys. As the GOP did in 95 and 96 when Bill Clinton first advocated a balanced budget. Obama could then go to the Democrats for tough cuts to entitlements and look to the Republicans for different cuts on defense. Do you see what this is about, people? This is about continuing Obama's agenda. And it's about them getting a Democrat in the White House in 2012. Trust me. Let's keep reading. If the president adopts our suggestion, both sides will be forced to compromise. No, we won't. No, we won't. We don't have to compromise with someone who wants to make us slaves. The alternative, we fear, will put the nation at greater risk. Ooh, the monkeys are flying from the sky like in The Wizard of Oz. Well, we believe that Obama can be reelected. Oh, you do? Really? To do so, he will have to embark on a scorched earth campaign of the type that President George W. Bush ran in the 2002 midterms and the 2004 presidential election, which divided Americans in ways that still plague us. We don't want to have division. We want to have unity at all costs. Achtung, we will be the good Germans. We will get behind the Führer. Yes, we will not tolerate any of the dissent and the division that has plagued us. You guys, honest, you're disgusting. You're so, and I mean that in a political, ethical, moral way. You're disgusting because you're so locked into the power vacuum or the desire for power in D.C. that your brains have been vacuumed out and you actually can't see that we don't want this damnable agenda. We don't want to get along with Obama. We don't care if he runs in 12 or not. We want, and by the way, we want to hold Boehner's feet to the fire. Do you understand, people, what they're trying to do? They're setting a false agenda, a false premise that we can all just get along if Obama says we're not going to run, and then we'll take all the rancor out of it, and we don't have to have a scorched earth policy like George Bush did in 2004. As if there wasn't a huge difference between Kerry and Bush. Heaven help us. I've got to take a break. I'm feeling the anger. I'm feeling the rage. I want you to as well. It's a powerful tool. Be not silent, O God of my praise, for wicked and deceitful mouths are opened against me, speaking against me with lying tongues. Colonel Christopher Gadsden said, "Don't tread on me." And by the way, he wasn't seeking a compromise with the British over who would rule America. This piece ends. Should the president do that, not run for re-election, he and the country would face virtually no bad outcomes. The worst case scenario for Obama? In 2013, he walks away from the White House having been transformative in two ways. As the first black president, yes, but also as a man who governed in a manner unmatched by any modern leader. Are they joking? He will have reconciled the nation, continued the economic recovery, gained a measure of control over the fiscal problems that threaten our future, and forged critical solutions to our international challenges. He will at last be the figure globally he has sought to be, and will almost certainly leave a better regarded president than he is today. History will look upon him kindly, and so will the public. Now, I think that for comic relief, they actually put in here, he will have reconciled the nation. Can anyone who is not on crack heroin, LSD, some type of hallucinogen, maybe just a really good brand of marijuana. Can anyone not doing illegal drugs believe that Obama could reconcile the nation? A man who's trying to get homosexuals in the military? A man who believes not just in partial birth abortion, but in killing babies that survive abortion? A man who is to the left of Karl Marx? I'm sorry, that was a joke. Can anyone really believe that this man could reconcile the nation? This has been one long deceit so that the Democrats can win power in 2012. God bless you.